Welcome back, everybody, to the Fourth and Football Podcast. I'm Jacob.
I'm Wyatt.
And I'm Ricky.
We're back again, here to talk another week of football. Great games, some blunders of games too, some slow games we had, but it happens in the football every year. Wyatt, man, kick it off, brother.
I want to hop right into it. Vikings-Packers. Vikings 31-29 over the Packers. Packers make a late run at the end. Jordan Love comes back. What were y'all thinking about that game?
The Vikings are the real deal.
Yeah.
Vikings are good, man. They're not this is not a fake. I guess this was all the culmination they were hoping when they've hired Kevin O'Connell, what they wanted to see, and they're the real deal. Sam Darnold's Dyson. They're scary. They're a scary team to play going forward.
I mean, I think we're all happy here to see Sam Darnold do well, finally. Vikings definitely look real. Defense playing with some guys we didn't know the name of before the season started. Not going to call them no names now. But that defense looks real. The offense is clicking. And then you got the Packers team who just came off of a couple wins without their quarterback. The quarterback comes back, looks a little rusty. Not going to hold that against Jordan Love, just coming back off injury.
But man, he's a gunslinger, ain't he?
Yeah.
Like, I know he was good. He was good last year. We saw a lot of more attention to detail, I feel like, in him last year, being smart with the ball. This year, he's slinging. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
I think I realized, personally, I feel like he's a true gunslinger. We haven't seen it. Kind of like Brett Favre back in the day.
Early Matt Stafford.
Yeah, early Matt Stafford.
For sure.
But he did throw 3 interceptions because gunslingers, that's what happens when you have a gunslinger. I think he was just trying to get back into it and win the game.
Still have 4 touchdowns.
Still had 4 touchdowns.
400 yards.
The good was better than the bad. You can't win with 3 interceptions, but
Coming off an injury, you couldn't hope
can't-
for much better.
you
than
couldn't.
That.
That's a scary injury. They got a real one there. I mean,
Yeah.
for sure. It's not a fluke.
You could definitely tell they went back to the original game plan for how they wanted to play this season. Kind of got away from the pass with Malik in, and they really got after it with the pass game and slowed down a lot on the run game this last week.
I think if they incorporate more of that run game on the Packers side, you probably see them do a little bit better in that game. But still, I think that Vikings team's just better. Well, at least right now.
Possibly better coached.
Yeah.
You see a little tit for tat between LaFleur and Aaron Jones on the pressers.
Yeah.
They were asking about Aaron Jones. Are you worried about him? He was like, who? Aaron Jones. Who? I was like, he said,
Mike
who's that, I think.
Yeah.
Mike Jones?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I was like, damn, that's petty as hell.
Yeah, that is.
But little intricates of the game that, you typically don't get to see. It's cool.
Falcons Saints. A big win for the Falcons. Saints dropped 2 straight. Thoughts on that one?
How do the Falcons win that game without getting an offensive touchdown? Like
That's crazy,
That's
ain't
all
it?
I'm gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
They put up, what,
muff kick,
26?
and
Yep.
pick
26
six?
points?
Yeah.
That's wow.
I picked up Young Hoku on fantasy.
I mean, you might as well. Best scoring offense right there.
That paid off.
Yep.
But yeah, winning that game without a offensive touchdown is wild.
It is. I mean, but they found a way to win. That's what it boils down to. They did find a way to win.
Derek Carr's slowing down.
He is. He's starting to do what Derek Carr does. I was hoping to actually see like a really amazing full season from him, but he's starting to slow down. Offense.
Saints offensive line still hurt though. I mean,
It is, and that Falcons defense is serious. It'll take them
that
some time to
defense is
mesh
nice.
and become a cohesive unit. But overall, it's a nice defense.
Are we off on the Saints now, or are we just kind of?
No, I think there's still. I mean, that's a good division. Now, I didn't expect anything from that division this year, and there's good football played out of there. Good games we're getting to watch. I wouldn't write them off just yet.
I've been off the Saints for a while.
Why?
Now. I said after the Cowboys game, I'll believe it when they play somebody.
Yeah,
and now
true.
they've played somebody's.
That game could have gone
dropped
either
2
way
straight.
though.
I mean, I think the key factor for them losing games is maybe Cesar Ruiz. He's missed the last 2 games. That right guard.
you alluded to that before.
Last 2 games too.
Yeah, but I mean, the Falcons are who we were hoping them to be. So it's not like they lost to a bad team.
No.
We expected the Falcons to be division leaders, be a good team.
The Falcons lost to the Chiefs, and who else did they lose to so far?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh,
Week
1.
So-
we
so
called that one.
They played good teams.
Kind of wrote that one
It's
off
not like
a
a
little
bad.
bit.
They lost to a bad team. Eagles, as hit and miss as they are, or they can be, they're a good team.
Yeah.
So I mean, they lost
Yeah.
to some good teams.
All right. Speaking about the Eagles Bucks this week.
Baker by
we
50.
were looking for
Wow.
a good rematch, and I think kind of what we hinted to. The Eagles with those injury problems might
Yeah.
have hurt them a little bit, and then Baker came out firing.
I guess, guys, I owe you 2 guys an apology. Remember, I was always saying that playoff game, they didn't want to be there. I don't know what it was. The team was disconnected. That it wasn't that big of a win
wasn't
for the
Baker?
Bucks. It wasn't Baker. It wasn't, but I guess it was. It was the same thing again. The Bucks have their number. I don't know. Is Baker emerging as a top 10
What
quarterback?
you mean emerging?
been
He's
a
always
top
been
10
here.
quarterback.
But
He's
is he
always
emerging as
been
a
here.
as a true talent, like as what y'all thought he was going to be? I was a non-believer for a while. I mean, I still rooted for the guy, but I mean, it might be that time to give him his due.
I mean, you already alluded to it that the Eagles' injuries, Jalen Hurts looks lost without AJ Brown. I'm gonna just say it. Not having someone there that they can really lean on. Goddard, yeah, he's
Yeah.
good, but he just it's not as good as AJ Brown. Let's just
No.
say that.
Yeah,
Devontae Smith not being there too really hurts that team. But at the end of the day, Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback in the league.
Chill
Always gonna
out.
be that
No.
good.
no way. It's outlandish.
I'm gonna be honest. It looks like their offense really got bailed out with that 80-yard run by Saquon. Other than that, there was not a single big
Yeah.
play. I don't think for them the
there
whole
wasn't.
game.
I mean,
You saw some big plays with Devontae Smith still in there. He had at least a solid wide receiver still, but without Brown and Devontae Smith, that offense looked stagnant.
I
They
think
looked
I
slow.
saw the first half for that game. It was the Bucks had more points than the Eagles had yards.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
that was just
the offense was
it
abysmal.
reminded me of. It was kind of like it looked like Saquon on the Giants. It's Saquon versus the other team.
That's crazy that you say that because I was thinking the same thing. I was
Yeah.
like, this is
It's 1 versus 11.
Yeah,
all
it's
over again. For
what he tried to
Saquon.
leave, and it's like,
It's right back.
could just be the Bucks have their number. I don't know. Jalen Hurts, I wouldn't worry too much yet personally, but he did look a little lost out there for sure.
is this
It looked
Sirianni,
like
though?
rookie Jalen Hurts is what it
Is-
looked like.
Is this Sirianni? I mean, we talked about this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think this now
I think
is
it's
a
time for. I
conversation we
mean,
have to
especially
have.
when you got the Eagles, it's nothing we wouldn't expect. This team is they moved off of Andy Reid, they moved off Chip Kelly, they moved off of Doug Peterson. This is what they do. I think if they're gonna do it, they need to do it fast, and they could probably salvage a season here.
Yeah,
it probably
I think
is
they
the coaching.
could bring a season back in. I mean, we saw last year. He obviously lost the team last season.
Yeah.
And we said it earlier in some other podcasts. We think he's lost the team possibly this season already.
I mean, I think
And
a big determinant on if you're a good coach or not is how you overcome injuries. I mean, we saw it in the Vikings whenever they lost JJ
It's
McCarthy.
adapt. You got to
Yeah,
adapt.
you gotta
in
be able
all
to adapt.
scenarios. If you're getting beat, hammered by the pass in the first half, if you don't make any adaptation, all the good coaches adapt.
yeah,
They always adapt in any scenario.
Bills Ravens. A game I don't think any of us saw going this way. Ravens
Not at all.
35-10 over the Bills.
Yeah.
That Bills offense looked bad.
I think we talked about it. It could, privately, that it could possibly be a trap game for the Bills. That they look human now. This game
Mhm.
could be. I was hoping it wasn't going to be. I was rooting for the Bills, but it's also a game for the Ravens where they can be like, hey, I know we started off slow, but like, don't forget about
Derrick
us.
Henry's back to the Derrick Henry
Yeah,
we know.
and leading the league, he topped out at over 21 miles an hour. That's not falling off speed.
No.
I think you look at this this Ravens Bills game, you say, well, I guess the Ravens weren't as bad as we thought they were coming out of week 2, losing 2 games in a row. I mean, one of them a kind of nasty loss against the Raiders, but the first week, I mean, they lost to the Chiefs by a toe.
Yeah,
Isaiah likely catches that ball in the end zone. We're talking about this team completely differently. Derrick Henry finally showing us why he went to the Ravens and 198, 199.
197.
I was right there at that 200 mark. Hitting his top speeds. Then Lamar Jackson looking pretty solid. Didn't make any mistakes, I don't think.
they look like a division winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the way that their division is planning out.
But I don't discount the Bills on this either. I mean, they were without 3 of their pass rushers. Now they're losing. Oh God,
Rosu?
bless. What?
Is it Rosu?
Rosu, and they're also losing Von Miller.
I think it's very impressive for the Bills on my end.
Yeah.
You got to think it took the Ravens to do this to the Bills. We
Yeah.
thought them being questionable this year going into a
Yeah.
lesser teams would be able to do this. It took a full-fledged, full-throttle Ravens team operating on all cylinders to do this to them.
I think it's a similar situation as the Texans, though. I mean, rather have this loss happen early in the season than late and kind of lose your momentum, whereas
Yeah.
you can come back and build off of this, see the flaws that you have in your team, and work
Early.
forward.
Yeah.
I think the thing with the Ravens I was really impressed with is they got back to Ravens football.
Yeah.
Early in the season with the losses, it was like Lamar almost wanted to just go out there and prove, I'm a throwing guy. Like I can throw the ball and, throwing the ball 40 times a game. They get away from that. They get back down to, hey, Lamar, you're going to run the ball. And Derrick Henry, we're going to give you the ball 20 times a game. And
As
now
they
they're
sh-
winning football games.
It's Derrick Henry. Like, why would
Yeah.
you not? And maybe had to get it out of them. I don't know what it was. They kind of resorted back to the
But I mean, in the first 2 games, they kind of got behind. Well, not the Raiders.
they are
game,
playing
but-
Mahomes. You kind of always feel like you're behind, I guess.
Mhm. And just trying to put up points.
That
doing-
Raiders game, though, I mean, trying to throw the ball way too much in that game,
Yeah.
too. I mean, even late in the game, you're up in the game, and you go 3 straight plays with a pass. I mean,
I
they're
think
finally
that's
gotten back
the only
to it.
game so far that we look at the Ravens and we're like,
Yeah.
But you're gonna have those. It's the NFL.
Yeah.
So
All
you're right. I would rather it happen early in the season than later in the season.
My favorite game of the week, Monday night, Lions versus Seahawks. I mean, shootout game. Both QBs looked amazing. One QB was perfect.
Yeah, I haven't seen a perfect performance like that in.
Ever.
Was it ever?
Ever.
Has it never been
Never
done?
been happened with that
I was
many
just trying to
pass
think of
attempts.
recent memory. I was like,
With that
I think it's been
many-
a while.
18 for 18. With that many pass attempts, no
Yeah,
one's
that's
ever
crazy.
not thrown
And
an
and
incomplete
almost
pass.
300 yards.
At
too.
the
Yeah.
top level, you can do it.
They weren't just like dink and dunks. It
Yeah.
was like
So I know you felt a certain way about Jared Goff. How you feeling about him after this week?
I mean, he can do this. We saw him against back in 2020. When was it? 2018.
game,
The
yeah.
Chiefs game, maybe 2018. He's always been able to do this. So I wouldn't say I'm surprised, but
Glad to see
at
it.
the level of play he's playing consistently now, I mean, since the beginning of 2023 season, he's a better statistical passer than Mahomes, than Prescott, than Rodgers. I mean, he's up there with the best statistically. It's just the moments of certain defenses thrown at him, pressure gets thrown at him, he tends to crumble. That's why they got rid of him.
Yeah.
I think you also had that amazing run game. They're not really having to lean on Jared Goff, but when you
Yeah.
do,
But that's what you want.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, but also he can go out there and play wide receiver, I guess. Getting that rack.
Oh, yeah, I got a receiving
Oh yeah,
touchdown.
a receiving touchdown is
Amon-Ra with
crazy.
a ball.
Yeah,
too.
that was a dot.
ball.
It was a perfect little lob.
I do want to give Geno Smith his props. I mean, he went out there and played amazing
Geno Smith is
football.
awesome. Man.
400 yards. They
We
were
really don't
slinging that
deserve
thing.
to see this part of Geno Smith's career. It's kind of lucky that this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that Seahawks offense I thought looked amazing. It's that defense. I've had questions about that defense a little bit, and it's just I feel like they couldn't get any pressure back there.
Yeah.
Goff had all time to throw the ball.
They're going
They
against
couldn't stop the
arguably the
run.
best line in
They
the
also
league, though.
had, I think, 3 linebackers out this game.
See,
too.
that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
Um,
if Jordan Brooks was out, that's a big
mhm.
deal.
yeah,
But then, like we were talking about Geno Smith, I mean, not only just Geno Smith, but K-Walk came out, looked amazing. That Seahawks offense
he
in
did.
general looked really good. Offensive line was getting a lot of push early. I just think that their defense didn't hold up, didn't get them stops where they needed them, and
Yeah.
they just fell behind.
great game though. My favorite game of the week. Really great wide receiver play. DK Metcalf
Yeah.
went out there, and that's one of the best
did his
games I've seen
things.
out of DK in a while.
You don't see it enough, and you would like to for
yeah.
I mean, the guy's a freak of nature.
That's 3 straight games with 100 for DK.
Yeah,
now.
he's
I
having a
think
really
he's
good
getting
season.
that momentum going.
It's good fucking football
Yeah.
this year, dude. I mean, we're blessed to have this such good football.
There's
such
so
good
much
games.
parity in the league. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like some of the years past where it's like, all right, these 4 teams got a chance.
I mean,
It's
Yeah.
like
we're
there's
saying it
teams
every
out
week
here.
now. It's not
Yeah.
like, yeah.
The league is wide open.
The matchups are crazy. Last year, the matchups were underwhelming because they kind of scheduled a lot under Aaron Rodgers
being
matchups,
healthy,
like a
yeah.
tour maybe of like the best matchups for
Yeah.
him, maybe his final season.
And
And when
then-
he got hurt, it really did ruin
Yeah.
the games, the matchups. It
I
did
mean, it seemed like we'd watch the
Watching
Jets every week.
watching Zach Wilson
Yeah.
every week, and we're like,
to the
oh,
point they were
wow.
flexing some games to
Yeah.
make them a better matchup.
It was
Yeah.
almost like watching the Titans and Dolphins this week every week last
Yeah.
year. It was pretty bad.
Man, why did they even put that game on Monday night?
Oh my gosh, that was a bad.
I
football
mean,
game.
even looking at it, if Tua was healthy, that's not a game no one wants to watch.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, I felt pretty good about my pick. I mean, I picked the Titans to win.
Yeah.
They just because of last year, the way they did last year, they came back and beat them
True.
in the second half by like 14.
You
Two
just want your
backup
division to look
QBs.
good.
That's
no,
one of
I
the-
really preferred them not to have won.
I will say though, that was one of the worst football games I've ever
Tyler
watched.
Huntley looked
It's-
Awful. How you go
Really?
from Pro Bowl to that?
I mean, Pro Bowl.
I mean, I know he's been in the system 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the Pro Bowl thing was kind of fluky. I get it. People dropped
Yeah.
out. He jumped in.
I mean, Tyreek Hill had 3 balls where he was
yeah.
way by the corner,
And they
he couldn't even
did
get it
not
near him.
use
Achin.
Achin.
Oh,
Like barely.
no, not at all.
And I was like, he's literally lined up at receiver. I was like, why are we not getting him the ball? Why are they not getting him the ball?
Just do like a receiver screen or just
Just
I
get
lost
the
my
ball-
fantasy matchup because of that.
Yeah, just get the ball in his
five
hands.
point something points from A-Chain. That's crazy.
That's the only reason why you're bringing that up.
Yeah.
That trade that I made for you, getting rid of A-Chain for Kenneth Walker, it's looking
This week it
now.
looked good. This week it looked good. Jesus. But that could have been it was a better game than I thought it was gonna be, honestly.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker had a hat trick.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the team everybody wants to hear us talk about. The Dallas Cowboys did pick up a win over my Giants, 20-15.
Barely.
They played this week?
Thursday.
They played last Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah.
They barely won. Daniel Jones was efficient.
I mean,
He's just not a winner.
We were watching the game. I don't know how many times I was screaming at the TV to catch the damn ball. I mean, I
Yeah.
think the Giants had 7 drops that
Slayton
game.
probably had most of them.
Slayton had 4.
Yeah, he's the best receiver y'all got.
Get out of here.
I'm
Malik
just-
Neighbors is him.
Oh, 100%. Malik Neighbors is the hype is real behind
yes.
that guy.
If it wasn't for 3 drops on that last drive of the game, we're talking about a 1-3 Cowboys team right now.
We are.
I mean, if they just scored 1 touchdown in that game, it's
I felt like the Giants, as a Giants fan, of course, I might be a little biased. I felt like the whole game, we had the momentum the whole game. It's just we couldn't punch it in at the end.
Couldn't get it in
Yeah,
the red
it-
zone or in the 30 inside. They
No.
just-
felt
we
like
don't
it was
have any
the
run game.
same
Yeah.
game over and over again, or the same.
Yeah, it felt like a double
We're-
entendre every
yeah.
time.
We're just reliving Groundhog Day out there. It's like, okay, the Giants are moving, and we get to the 30.
And it's not the
Stop.
Giants football we're used to. I mean, Daniel Jones played good. We're not used to that.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not used to that.
yeah.
And then it's time to go run the ball, which is one thing I've always felt confident about. And then, we don't have Saquon Barkley
Don't have
anymore.
Saquon.
And Devin Singletary is just,
He's
you know,
26.
yeah.
Isn't that
he
the
wears
parallel
number 26.
crazy though? If y'all pay Saquon, he probably puts you over the edge. You're probably in arguably could be in the lead for the division right now.
Yeah.
If you keep Saquon.
But I think you're
He's definitely good for another win
I mean,
at least.
you're telling me we have Saquon. Do we win that game?
yeah, you win
Yes,
the game, but
100%.
are you looking at it for this year? I mean, are they really a Super Bowl contender with Saquon?
I mean, with a weak division,
I mean, they're a playoff contender. I wouldn't call them a Super Bowl contender.
no, but I mean, playoff wins is playoff win.
Yeah.
If you're Brian Dable,
That's better than picking first overall.
if you're Brian Dable right,
Right
now, you're
direction
like,
you wanna be
we
in.
should have kept Saquon. I could have won us a playoff game. He's done it before.
Yeah.
Or you could have gone out and gotten, the
Josh
Command-
Jacobs.
It could have gotten anybody, but
Could have gotten another
Devin
running back.
Singletary.
or
Devin
maybe-
Singletary's our guy. But to the Cowboys, you win a game, you look bad. But
It's the same old Cowboys, dude.
I thought this was going to be the game where they turned everything around.
I
and-
thought, it's the Giants. We're gonna go out here. We're gonna beat on them. We're gonna show everybody we're the big bad Cowboys, like we're supposed to, pump our chest a little bit. But no, they could barely get over this hump.
yeah.
It's there's trouble in Dallas, man, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, and then you got Micah and DeMarcus Florence out next week too.
Yeah.
Let me just tell y'all their next 7 games, and you tell me how many of these 7 y'all think they win.
Okay.
You got the Steelers, the Lions, the
Mm.
Niners, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Texans, and the Commanders. That's their next 7 games.
I think I see one win for them.
I see possibly 2 wins.
one of them being the Texans.
Wow.
but
Wow.
but honestly though, like maybe the Commanders. But if the Commanders
I
keep
don't know
playing,
if they beat the Commander. I think
Yeah.
Dan Quinn might have their number.
Steelers
is
I
where I
don't
was
think they beat the
pushing
Steelers.
towards.
They play in Pittsburgh.
That's yeah.
Ooh,
and then
that's
without-
rough. That's gonna be a good game, dude.
That is going to be a good game.
It's a
Sunday
lot.
Night Football.
It's gonna be good entertainment.
I don't want to.
Justin Fields going to light them up.
It-
I'm
I
calling
think
it
it'll be
now.
a good game.
Justin Fields is going to light them up.
Entertaining game.
entertaining for sure.
Justin Fields lighting them up. The
Oh,
Cowboys.
yeah. I mean, we've never had a question with the Steelers offensive line.
Do you think the Steelers defense shuts down the Cowboys this week?
Yes.
Yes.
100%?
The Giants defense, I mean,
Is
thrived
what's the
against them.
cornerback wide receiver matchup? CD, who is he gonna be going against?
Joey Porter Jr. probably.
I still have questions about him.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're going to have our questions, of course.
Mika's back there though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Okay,
mean,
it's gonna be
but
a good matchup.
Let's say, CD does go have that big game. Okay.
Yeah,
I,
who will.
I still don't think they win.
No. I mean, he had a big game against the Saints.
Do you think it's gonna be an
Lost.
all-out brawl where it's like trying to get any points we can, scrambling for points, or you think it's gonna be a blowout game?
I think, honestly, I'm not going to say blowout. I think it's a 10-point game.
Okay.
But I think the Steelers have that 10 points over the whole game.
I
So
could-
it's like,
I could see it like started out field goal out of the Cowboys, Steelers come back, field goal, touchdown, and it's just one of those games where they just are playing from behind the whole time.
yeah, I think the Cowboys play from behind the whole time. I think on national TV, Justin Fields shows some people like, hey, I've changed. I'm a franchise quarterback now.
I'm excited to watch the matchup 100%. It's history first of all.
Yeah.
The
I could
matchup
see,
is historic.
Like Najee or Jalen Warren going for like 200 both though.
200 both.
Combined?
Combined. No. Each of them.
Oh, that's
What?
crazy.
Honestly.
this is the NFL.
400 rushing yards
No.
between two guys?
No. Oh, sorry. Sorry. No, both of them get 100 though.
Oh,
Okay.
so combined for 200
Yeah,
yards.
I could see that.
Yeah, for sure.
I can definitely
Like,
see that.
The run defense has been
Oh,
soft.
I won't say that. I think Fields has 100. and the running backs combined for about 150. I think we'll see, close
You
to
probably
300
will see a
rushing
lot of
yards.
field scrambling. Well, they're not going to have Michael or DeMarcus Lawrence.
No.
I'm forgetting about that. You just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they going to have
And
any
that D
pass-
tackle that they have, he's.
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of. I think we're going to be like Ohio State Justin Fields with no pass rush.
They
against
really
him.
could lose all of those games.
Yeah.
All 7 of those.
Like if you're a Cowboys fan
Or
right
we could
now,
really
they could
look-
beat the Eagles.
it's a time not to be delusional. Like y'all are not going to be playing playoff football this year.
Or we
Oh.
could look really stupid and they come out and beat the Steelers next week.
Yeah.
I mean, good
that's-
job. You beat the Steelers. Now go beat the Lions, the 49ers, the Eagles, or the Texans, or the Falcons.
if they come out of
And then maybe get the Manders at the end.
Man,
okay, so if the Cowboys come out of these next 7 games with the winning record, will you be impressed?
I would.
You would?
yeah, I would.
I mean, if any team came out of this with a winning record, let's say
This is the heart of their schedule almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's say your Texans came out of this with a winning record. You got the Steelers, who's a solid team. The Lions, who we've all decided are
Yes.
top 3. 49ers,
Yeah, I
who's
guess if
probably
you-
healthy.
I see
If
where you're
it's-
going with
yeah,
that.
it's if any team
out of
comes
those-
out of that,
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the winning record.
I think the Cowboys got to use that trade time and go make some moves because y'all are not a playoff team.
I don't think the way they're composed right now, offensively, for sure, they're not.
I mean, call me crazy. I think the Cowboys might finish last in this division this year.
well, who do they get? I mean, yeah,
Come on
Devontae
now.
Adams is the biggest
The
name
Giants
right
are
now.
definitely going to finish last.
But what does that do for your offense there? I mean, you still got
What do you- I mean,
problems behind the line.
I don't think Devontae Adams is a good
No.
move
Yeah.
for sure.
I think if any move, you maybe
A
go
run-
pick up
a
some
running back.
key defensive players, or if you get a running
You
back,
need a real
the guy
running
I
back.
go get Roshan Johnson from the Bears. They're not using him out there no
Yeah.
more. He's a solid back. We
Go
saw
get
it last
Samaj
year.
P. Ryan.
Yeah,
Go get
somebody.
Chiefs
who
aren't
actually,
giving
a
up
veteran
Samaje.
in the league.
But I mean, I see what the Cowboys try to do. They try to do like a money ball situation where they wanted Derrick Henry. They couldn't afford Derrick Henry with the cap space, so they try to replace him with.
Bro, that cat space is so
Maybe you go get,
finagling.
there's levels.
they
you
can
got,
go get somebody if they want
You
to.
got Derrick Henry. You got Zeke. Go get a guy in the middle. Go get AJ Dillon.
Well, that's what they thought.
He's hurt this year. He's out this year.
That's
out
what
the
they
whole
thought
season.
Rico Dowdle was going to be. Was that
But why?
that guy in the middle?
Why? Because Tony Pollard took the jump?
Because
Yeah.
Tony Pollard took a jump.
But this isn't the same Zeke that helped Tony Pollard take that jump. People were
No.
game planning to stop Zeke when Zeke
Yeah.
was there.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have Tony Pollard explode, but now no one's worried about a slow, fat
Mm-mm.
Ezekiel Elliott.
No,
No.
he's good at pass pro.
Good for
I-
him.
I
Run
give
the
him
ball,
that.
though.
I give him that. But yeah, it's
I think it's just familiarity is why they went back and got him. A
So,
cheaper back that knows
think
the
if we
system
see-
already, kind of.
Rico Dowdle maybe make a jump, but I don't think he will behind that line.
No, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Cowboys win. If y'all are lucky, y'all win 2 of these next 7.
2 out of the next 7.
If y'all win 3, I'll say,
If you
know
could come
what?
out of it
I could see him getting
3
the
or
Eagles.
4, 3 and 4,
I could see him getting the Eagles.
that'd be a win. You can have a good
Mm,
season.
2 and
maybe
7? 2 and 5 out of these next 7.
maybe the Falcons there, and that's pretty much it. If the Falcons,
The Falcons
don't
are
score-
rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but if they
I'm
don't
really
score an
iffy.
offensive touchdown like they did this week.
Well, speaking of the Falcons, we got a big game for them this next week. A short turnaround. You play Monday or you play late. Would they play late Sunday?
Yeah.
Play late Sunday. Now you got to roll around Thursday. You got to play Buccaneers. You are in Atlanta, but you're playing a super hot Tampa Bay team. Who y'all got coming out of that one, and what's some key things to look for? in that
Again,
one?
Baker Mayfield by 50 every week. It's gonna
Oh.
happen.
All right, Ricky is now a Bucks fan.
I
is what
did
it
not
sounds like.
expect myself to be excited for
Falcons Buccaneers.
Falcons.
Falcons
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. More so Baker versus Kirk Cousins.
This is an exciting
I'm
football
amped.
game.
Three,
Yeah.
I'm
three
hyped
years
up
ago,
about it.
I told you, yeah, the Falcons and the Buccaneers are playing. You were like, okay, cool. I get to see Tom Brady and
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Nah, Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins.
That's crazy.
And you're gonna
right?
want to see
And
it.
I want to see this matchup.
Yeah.
Um.
I mean, we're gonna see crazy offenses,
Yeah.
weapons all over the field on both teams.
It's
I
gonna be
mean,
about who gets in the end zone more.
Yeah.
100%. And we might see the emergence of a real defense between the two of them. There
Are
could
we,
be a difference.
what are we
here.
thinking? We thinking, kind of a close game, or we think like low scoring, mid scoring? We thinking like a shootout.
I think this is gonna be a shootout.
I do
dude.
too.
What's the over under on the points? Do you know?
1.5 favorites for Atlanta.
1.5 favorite. Oh man.
And is that
At
at home?
home.
That's
Oh,
at
that
home.
is at
oh,
They
home.
want the
so
Buccaneers.
it's really just a pick 'em, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, technically the
Buccaneers.
Bucks would be favored by 1.5.
Yeah.
Because
Technically,
remember,
they're
you
favored by
usually have
1.5.
that 3-point
3-point
advantage for the
favorite
home
at home.
team.
Yeah, I'm giving it to the Bucks then.
Yeah, give me the Bucks. A hot Buccaneers
I think
team.
I should go with the
A
Bucks.
questionable Bijan Robinson too. Give me the
Tyler
Bucks.
Algier is not a bad backup.
Oh no, Tyler, he's the real deal.
yeah, I like him.
He's only
so.
projected for 27.5 rushing yards. Take the over. But
Is that your pick of the week?
Yeah. It's probably the line of the week right there.
I'm gonna roll with the Falcons at home, just because they're at home. I believe in Kirk Cousins.
Kirko
we
Chains.
argued about this. Who's better, Baker, Kirk? And I was like,
Baker.
give me Kirk every day. I get the playoff thing, but I was like, I'm gonna ride with Kirk. I'm gonna take Kirk in this one.
Give me
the
Baker.
Falcons.
I think it's gonna be one of those games where the last team that gets the ball
Wins the game.
wins the game, and I love it. I'm gonna love watching this game.
I think
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this game.
Yeah. All right. So Sunday we got the London special. We got
Yeah,
Jets Vikings. First question: will you be awake for this game? And
What is
second,
it
who
at,
do you have winning this game?
Like 7:00 in the morning.
It's
I think
8:30 a.m.
8:30. That's not that's not unreasonable. I think I'm gonna get up early.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna watch it.
unreasonable. It's my one day off.
I get
Yeah.
that. I'm there with you, buddy. I like to sleep in too till about 10:30 on Sundays. But for this game, it could be a really the Vikings are the real deal. We just spoke about this. This could be a really. Usually these games are not very good over there. I mean, I don't know if it's the travel, what it is.
because the Jaguars usually play those.
That's
games.
true. It's usually
That's
I'm
true.
usually watching the Jaguars and the Saints or something over there.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a really good game.
I think
Jets,
last year it was
Vikings.
Jaguars Panthers. So that's probably why the games aren't too good over there.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
I
this
think,
will make some football fans over
I
there.
think we're gonna see another rout from the Vikings. I mean, the Jets just don't look good.
I'm kind of leaning that way. I want to.
They just lost to the Broncos.
Yeah.
Broncos team that only
Bo,
60 yards.
this is the craziest stat I've seen ever. Cortland Sutton had 60 receiving yards. Bo Nix had 58 passing yards. How the fuck does that happen?
And a Sean Payton offense.
Yeah.
But they got the dub,
got
though.
the dub.
They got the dub. If
At
my
the end of
quarterback
the
can go out
day-
there and throw, would you say 57?
58.
58 passing yards and I get a dub?
You had a receiver with no
I'm not
receiving
complaining,
yards.
At
dude.
the end of the year, are we going to talk about those 58 yards? Or are we going to talk about the dub you got?
Well,
no, we're going to talk about that 58
Yeah,
yards.
yards.
That was crazy. I mean, but it was also a weather game over there in New York. Neither
Aaron-
team looked good.
how does Aaron not win that game? You're supposed to be Aaron Rodgers. You're supposed
Yeah.
to be a top 10 Hall of Fame quarterback.
And they're saying you like you were in your 30s.
Yeah.
They're saying you're back to form.
He looks like he's in his 50s.
I mean, we talked about, or I think y'all talked about this on the first podcast. Last time we saw Aaron healthy, he wasn't that good.
He wasn't Aaron Rodgers.
No.
But I still think the Jets get this game. Mainly
Think the
because
Jets get it?
I honestly do. I think that it's going to be a run game because those London games are always low scoring. They're both teams coming off of jet lag.
They're calling a big Braylon Allen game.
Braylon Allen and Brees Hall. Yeah. And again, the Vikings, they got Aaron Jones over there rolling, but I think this is the game that the Vikings drop, and we're like, man, what happened with the Vikings team? But I wouldn't worry about it, especially
you think
with
it's
it being in
where
London.
everybody's like, okay, maybe the Vikings are going to get back to reality.
For sure.
You think this can be the game?
I hope it's not. I hope Sam Darnold gets his revenge game against the Jets, but
That's honestly that's the story I didn't even think about. We might see a more cutthroat version of Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be coming for people's heads this game. He's like,
All season,
I mean, he's showing it right now.
Kevin O'Connell's the real deal. He's a really good coach. He's genius. He's from the McVay trees. I mean,
Yeah.
what you expect?
Imagine if that receiving core somehow added Devontae Adams.
imagine if the Jets added Devontae Adams.
I don't think he would hit in New York.
All right, moving on. I want to jump over to Bills and Texans. Exciting game. I know you're excited.
Yeah.
In Houston.
In
Got
Houston.
Josh Allen coming to town. Y'all are only 1.5 point favorites at home.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie. This could be an L. I'm a reasonable fan. You know, I'm realistic. This could be an L here. I wouldn't call it a trap game because we're impressed with the Bills. The Bills are the real deal this year. We feel. Could be an L, or it could be a confirmation that C.J. Stroud is that guy, bro. He gonna come out here, guns blazing. Oh, you're only throwing 200 yards. You only throw like a touchdown. Fuck that. He's coming for 5 touchdowns, 400 yards against these boys. We're gonna show everybody we the real deal. The Texans are like that. I'm
gonna
rocking with
get
the Texans.
I'm gonna give it to the Texans in this one, and I'm gonna call it the Stephon Diggs revenge game.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He's like that when
Yeah.
it comes to this
That's
type
a
of.
story
He's that
right
type of
there.
petty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yo, he is that type of guy. He's
Yeah,
gonna,
give me the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills.
No, but for real though, give me the Bills on this one. Coming off of that loss,
Stefan's gonna have a target on his back because these aren't the guy. Most of these guys aren't the guys that some of them aren't the guys that played with him. Even if they are the guys that practice with him, played against him every day, half of them probably don't like him. He's probably gonna have a target on his back.
I think the Bills come back to form, looking poised in the pocket. Josh Allen not having to do too much. Well, he's gonna have to win him the game, but I don't think he's gonna have to do it on his feet. I think that this is gonna be a good passing attack from your Bills offense. The only thing that worries me about this for the Bills is the lack of pass rushers. Keeping C.J. Stroud up is going to be easy for him to do, and if they can't affect him, C.J. is going to have a big game. But I still think that the Bills are going to win it. I think they're just a better built team overall.
I think the Bills struggle this game offensively.
Really?
I
I think this Texans defense is the real deal. They're going to slow down the pass like they have pretty much all season, it feels like. And we're going to see, that lack of weapons kind of affecting the Bills this week.
I mean, it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I think this is another one of those games that we see on the schedule. We're like,
James Cook has to have a big game this week.
he has to. 100% has to. You're right about the Texans defense. I feel like, even in the loss to the Vikings, they only gave up 186 passing yards.
Yeah.
It was just very efficient ball.
I'm just worried about that Texans defense. They didn't look good last week.
I think
against the Jags.
That's true. They didn't. They kind of struggled a little bit. Discipline's a big thing, I think, right now with the penalties. I think the key to this game for them is to not.
God, how many penalties last week?
I think it's 9 every game, 9 or 10 every game
But
now.
it's like
pretty
they're
bad.
averaging 150 in penalty yards.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. That has to get corrected. But I think you don't pin your ears back and come after Josh Allen this game. You put a box in him. You make him sit in that pocket and throw from the pocket.
I think if they do that, then you're looking at a Texans win. But I just feel like they're going to be wanting to come after him, hit him a lot like the Ravens did. But I don't think the Ravens have the speed, or the Texans have the speed at linebacker that the Ravens do.
Not with Christian Harris out still.
Moving on, Saints, Chiefs. Chiefs have another big injury. They already had Pacheco out for almost the season. Rashee Rice, their guy, we were saying that's their offensive guy this year.
Yeah.
He's out for the season, and they're coming up against a Saints team we've saw win some big games and really impress people. So who y'all got in this one? KC is at home, 5-point favorites.
KC at home.
I think before we say who we have, we need to really delve into like what's going on at KC.
Okay.
We're looking at an offense that's lost their identity 2 weeks in a row, but
Yeah.
yet they still win.
That's that Mahomes.
That's the Mahomes
Andy
magic.
Reid.
I mean,
Yeah.
Andy Reid. Kelsey finally looked like Kelsey last week, but I think he had to.
Is he gonna be able to do it all year?
They
he
haven't
gonna-
had a win in double digits yet.
No.
But they're still winning.
They're also the
Yeah.
Chiefs.
They're still winning. They're
Um,
still going out there every week. We've said this 2 weeks in a row now. What are they gonna do? They lost Pacheco. They lost this. They lost that. But yet they still win.
I think this is gonna be one of them scenarios like the cliche tale of a big bad bully
Mhm.
in Derek Carr's case. You can move different towns. You can have new friends. You can do all this. When you run into that bully, they used to bully you back in the day. Take your lunch money and sends you out of that place with an L damn near every time. You're gonna revert back to Raiders Derek Carr.
Yeah.
You're 100% going to. I think that's what happens here.
We agree that Mahomes is probably top 3,
Yeah.
top 2,
Top
top 1,
one.
the one.
He's the guy.
But yet he's still probably doing terrible. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
the worst season we've seen.
Yeah. 904 yards, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
It's
If there was no wins here, we'd be everybody would be like, "What is going on?"
I mean, he's
Yeah.
looking like what Jalen Hurts is doing out there, but yet
Yeah.
they're still able to win these games.
This is like one of the worst 4-0 teams I've seen when it comes to just watching the game.
I don't know.
watching the games, but they
Yeah.
get it done.
They do.
Did you watch the Steelers back in 2020? I'm gonna bring it up every time. there's one of these-
that was a fraudulent team, the undefeated team for 11-0 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Losing Rashee Rice is detrimental to the offense, but they have Andy Reid. They're gonna figure out, like we talked about, adaptation from coaches. He's gonna adapt. He's gonna find a guy. They won last year, and they had Kadarius Toney.
This is true.
They're
I mean, let's
receiving the
not
ball
forget-
away.
Their receiving core is still better overall, we would say, this year with the loss of Rice than last year. They did go get Worthy.
I don't know if it is
Could
just
you
because you had Rice still last year.
But Rice was
Yeah,
out
but
for
who else
like-
did you
yeah.
have?
Yeah.
Rice didn't really emerge until halfway through the season.
He didn't really cut loose, and become like, okay, this is that guy. This is our guy.
I mean,
Until halfway through the season.
We thought maybe the Sky Moore was going to be the guy last year.
Mhm.
I thought he was that guy at SMU.
Yeah.
But
Whoa.
fun little game I want to play.
He knows where he went to
for
college.
Kansas City. Give me 3 trade targets for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I mean, if Devontae Adams is out there, go grab him.
Okay.
I mean, if this is true, if he wants his trade, he says he wants his trade. If you're a championship team, you try to go grab a guy like that.
I'm going to throw a different receiver out there from Tennessee. Go get Calvin Ridley. We've seen some
They're
lack
not
of-
giving him up in Tennessee.
I don't know. They haven't utilized him at all.
Every time he
Tennessee.
gets the ball, he's so electric. I mean, he
the
is
whole
damn
3
near
times a game they give it to him.
I mean, I get it, but he gets a little bit more usage than that. But
I could see the other receiver from Tennessee going D-Hop.
D-Hop.
I mean, Asian superstar, maybe ring
they
chasing.
need a veteran.
They
What
need
about
a
Amari
vet.
Cooper?
I knowing the contract
He's their
structure-
lifeline
Yeah,
over there.
knowing the contract structure that they have on Amari Cooper, I don't think the Chiefs can swing that right now. But I think D-Hop's is a little bit more team-friendly deal.
And you have a real veteran who still put up 70 catches and 1,000 yards with
Mm-hmm.
questionable quarterback play last year. He's still
He's a stick
it's
mover.
quiet. It's
Yeah.
not as flashy. I mean, he's still gonna put those yards up. I mean, I think D-Hop,
That's always
D-Hop
been
is a
how
good
he
one.
is, though.
Do they get one of the guys maybe from Carolina? They go get, maybe a Thielen or a Deontay Johnson.
I don't think Thielen, after that nasty injury that he had going in the end zone, I think they categorized it as a hamstring, but it looked worse than that.
It looked bad. And Deontay Johnson is starting to thrive over there
Mm-hmm.
now with Andy Dalton playing quarterback. He looks like
That
like he
team,
did.
They look like an NFL
They
team.
look like an NFL team now. And Deontay
You
Johnson.
go out there with
is back to form.
Xavier Leglade out there, and you're fine. Yeah, I think Carolina's got a pretty good receiver core that they wouldn't give up.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I'm trying to really build something, I'm Dave Canales. I'm not giving that up.
But we all agree Kansas City's got to make some moves if they want to get that three-peat.
I don't agree. I mean, I think if you can, you do. But I mean, they showed us last year they can play questionable football throughout the year and still.
And like we've
Do it.
mentioned, Mahomes may be having a rough season, but when playoffs come around, we all
Yeah.
know what's going to happen.
It's gonna be. I mean, he's gonna be a lot more meticulous, not a lot more dialed in.
We'll be
Death by
seeing-
1,000 cuts if he has to. A lot more scrambling. He's gonna do whatever he has to do. to
We'll
win.
see those 280 passing yards and a sneaky 50 rushing yards
Yeah.
from him.
I think, Mahomes probably isn't really playing every week like it's the playoffs anymore.
I feel like we've hinted to before, you see those NBA players, in the regular season where it's like, oh, they don't really care. Then
Yeah,
playoffs come around and you're like, oh,
you
they
only.
woke up.
I mean,
think
like,
about it.
Like this last week, it just seemed like
He was
He-
just out there,
he was just out there. I mean,
just collecting a paycheck.
collecting a page. But even him just being out there, still a top 15 quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even with it, almost saying like he's not trying is what it almost
I mean, if
seems
you're the
like out there.
best, right?
Yeah.
And it's to the point where like there's a gap, and your team is the best.
you can let
You
off the
probably
gas a little
well, not even they probably don't naturally do it. I mean, you probably just don't. It doesn't do it for you.
You
A
don't have
regular
that
season
drive in
game
you
doesn't do
anymore.
it for you. Something has to be on the line.
I mean, we saw him against the Ravens. He had a pretty decent game
Yeah.
that game, but since then it's just been, we'll go out there, we'll win the game. I'll do
Yeah.
what I need to do,
You don't care about what it looks like, as long as they're getting back
Mm-mm.
to the playoffs, so they can become champions again.
and that's how you win championships,
Yeah.
really. So a little bit new segment. I want to go over. Give me your most surprising team and your most disappointing team so far this season.
Most disappointing team this season. Honestly, I'm gonna have to say the Eagles. The
Okay.
Eagles, I would say the most disappointing. Had kind of high hopes for them. I'm really big on Jalen Hurts. I like him. I root for the guy a lot. It's just not looking good. There's disarray. I don't know if it's coaching, if it's failed leadership. I feel like Jalen Hurts is an incredible leader. I don't know what it is, but something's not meshing, and there has to be a change. I was hoping for a hype, and with the addition of Saquon Barkley, Saquon has not disappointed, but the Eagles overall have disappointed, and they can't keep on doing it. They have to
No.
make a change before something happens. Most surprising, I mean, the fucking Vikings, dude. I mean, I know
Yeah.
I was the one to be like, hey, they're gonna be better than what we think they're gonna be. Sam Darnold's gonna be
But
better
no
than
one
what
thought.
I did not
this.
think this. I did not think this at all. They're rolling on all cylinders. The Vikings are very impressive, and honestly, if the Texans had to play them again, I would be worried.
My bad. Surprising. Got to go to the Commanders. I mean, coming in with the rookie quarterback, we didn't expect anything really from him. An offense that we looked at, we didn't really see any stars on it. I mean, an Austin Eckler that was.
I mean, who's McNichols? Is that his name?
Yeah, McNichols.
Who's that guy? He's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Austin
Luke
Eckler.
McCaffrey?
Luke
Another
Mc-
good McCaffrey?
The only McCaffrey that knows how to play her, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got Austin Eckler, who's an aging back, and then a guy that got shot.
Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Mini man.
That dude's been crazy.
Yeah, he's
too.
nice. He's nice since he came in. He was just always in a 2-back field.
And then
But you have a quarterback that's out there, what, 83%, I think is what his year
Yeah.
average is.
Through
Not
4
one game.
I mean,
not
outside
two,
of the way
3,
Sam Darnold's
4.
playing, is he playing the best ball at quarterback right now?
yeah. Because, I mean, you throw, 80 rushing yards on top of it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's reminds me of RG3, man. It's a fun to watch quarterback.
It is very reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
Ooh, somebody
hate to
better
put that
knock
out
on
there.
wood, 'cause I
Yeah.
cannot
Yeah,
see that
I do
again.
I do not want to see an injury in the playoffs and then him come back next season.
They believe in Dan Quinn over there.
Yeah.
They believe in Jaden Daniels. The
Mhm.
first game I didn't know. I was kind of on the fence about. That second game, I think by the third quarter, I was like, yeah, he might be.
Looks like the Cowboys got rid of the wrong coach in Dallas.
Yeah.
Um,
Hot
most-
take.
Most disappointing, man. It's a homer take, but it's my Browns. You come off of going to the playoffs looking like a solid team with Joe Flacco. Then you get your quarterback back, who we all thought was going to be, an at least decent quarterback. I mean, we talked about this personally before the season started. We didn't need Deshaun Watson to be a top 5 quarterback like he was in Houston. We just needed maybe top 20,
Yeah.
and he's looking like the bottom 3.
Yeah, he's not looking good.
This trade will probably go down in history like the Herschel Walker trade for the Cowboys.
I think it eclipses that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you've got the Texans who just rebuilt their whole franchise
Rebuilt-
off of
and
one
it
player
changed our dynamic of the franchise
In a
off
year.
of one
in a
trade.
year. And you've got our franchise who gave up 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. I think
A franchise quarterback.
a franchise quarterback.
Yeah. Baker
Um,
Maker evolving into this is crazy.
It's
It's the Browns.
It's the Browns.
It's the Cleveland Browns.
It's the Cleveland Browns.
What'd you expect?
what did I expect
when you chose
from
the
them?
fan base?
But I
thought
expected
my
at least
franchise
being
was
2-2 and maybe beating, the Raiders last week.
Is the last time y'all won a
But-
championship was with Jim Brown? Is that correct?
They didn't even win a
They
championship
did?
in the NFL.
Jeez, I just
They have never
assumed.
won a championship.
Oh my gosh! At least
But-
mine's only like 24 years old. You just had
Whatever.
all this history to go back and
Yeah.
look and be like, "Yep, I'm rooting
Well,
for them
here's
guys."
the thing: is that this Browns franchise started in '99. The
Yeah.
real Browns franchise is over there in Baltimore, looking like a solid team. It is the most embarrassing thing. But to add on to this, we're leading the league in drops. We're leading the league in quarterback pressures, quarterback hits. Terrible offensive line coming off of what I thought was the best offensive line in the league last year. Jerome Ford, who
yeah, that
finally-
doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah.
The fall off of the O line.
Jerome Ford, who looked solid last year, but now he can't really run. And then now we're leaning on 2 guys that were out of the league last year.
Is that to do with the line? Is that the same problem?
I would say, yeah, but
I mean, you saw Deshaun Watson out there yelling during the game, like trying to lead the guys. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
but then
very-
again, you're still leading the league in drops. And these aren't just,
Yeah.
pass breakups. No, these are hit you in the hands. One of them came off the pads in the game last week, went up in the air, looked like something out of Madden, freaking picked off and 20-yard return, set
Oh,
up the
yeah.
offense, and it was just the most embarrassing thing to watch.
It was, and that probably doesn't get talked about enough because everybody the quarterback play doesn't look pretty.
But
if you are
whenever he
leading the
hits
league,
them in the
if
hands,
you're leading them in the league in drops, I mean that's a big deal. You cannot win games. That's what they were talking about the Chiefs last year, first half of the season, leading the league in drops, and how questionable they were. We're like, oh, that's not the same Chiefs team. They're not winning games. You can't. Deshaun Watson can't do everything over there. He
Mhm.
can't catch the ball. You got to catch the ball at least when I get it to you.
But yeah, that's the most disappointing team to me.
My most surprising team, I'm going to go with the Steelers. I know you bring in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. We don't know who the starting QB is really until the day before the first game of the season. And Justin Fields has looked like a franchise quarterback. And they are
To
looking,
what degree?
300 yards last week.
Are you like Troy Aikman?
Are we rebuilding the franchise?
Are we
around
rebuilding
him,
yeah.
Or is this?
I think he's a guy that's good enough
stopgap?
to go win you games.
Maybe just for this. Maybe with that Steelers defense, that might be the perfect team.
I think we need to get weapons around him.
But is he a stopgap or is he like the one you build?
He's
around?
the guy you build around.
Okay.
Okay.
But I mean, obviously it wasn't Kenny Pickett. They knew you had to fix something.
Yeah.
You go bring in 2 guys. You're probably gonna start Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Injury happens.
Did
and
he actually get injured though? That's my question.
Yeah.
Were they just
did he
saving
lose
Russell
the
Wilson?
job?
Yeah, and they didn't want to.
There's no honestly. There's a lot of, reason to question that right there. I understand where you're coming from.
But if there's any
we may
coach,
never know.
if there's any coach that's going to turn Fields into a guy, it's Mike Tomlin.
Into a leader, into a winner,
Yeah.
yes. But you still gotta be able to play quarterback in this league.
We saw it last
He's
week.
playing a very well improved.
Yeah.
I will say that. It's just a consistency thing for me. Can he continue to do it over a whole season? That's what I just need to see.
Yeah,
That.
I guess we got to
Right.
give it over the season. But so far, I mean, they've looked like the most surprising team to me.
They look okay.
That defense, obviously, we knew was going to be amazing. But that offense has really shocked me. I mean, if you would have said through 4 games, how many games you think the Steelers are winning? I don't think we look at that schedule and say 3-1.
I'd like to.
We
play a
didn't.
fun
We didn't
game
have
here, though.
him. We had him at division bottom, did we not?
Yeah, we did.
But
and
I
they're
think we
winning that
said
division right now.
we wouldn't be surprised because of Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
If they were a winning team in a playoff game, but
Not winning the division.
not winning the division.
Now, if you're in the Bears' position, do you look dumb for not
Not
trading around
yet.
that front?
I think it's a little too early for that. But I think you look dumb not getting an offensive line. I mean, that was the problem the whole year with Fields.
And
You don't have weapons. You don't have an offensive line.
So what they did is go out and get weapons and just
No offensive
let
line.
their first round pick quarterback just
Get killed.
continually get
Yeah,
killed.
he's getting murdered.
Yeah.
He's trying hard though. I'll give him
Yeah,
that.
He's looking okay.
He doesn't look bad.
My most disappointing team. They're actually a 2-2 team. The Dallas Cowboys are my most disappointing team.
Wait, you
You
had
w-
high expectations?
You had
for
high
him?
expectations for these guys.
That's what
I'm
that
talking
means.
about what the world had expectations on these guys.
I
You go-
understand that.
Yeah. I mean, you talk to Cowboys fans before the
but
season.
why? They do this every year.
They start off strong every year. They haven't even started off
Yeah.
strong. You've beat 2
Especially-
teams, the Giants and the Browns. Congrats.
If
You
you
beat the
wanna
30 and the
gauge your
31st
team-
worst team in the NFL.
If you want to gauge your team like this, I would gauge it like the Cowboys if I was a Cowboys fan, seriously. Last year we beat them 40-0, right? They had Saquon Barkley. They had the same quarterback. I think he may have got hurt in that game, but basically had the same pieces. They lose Saquon. They did game the league, but everything else is kind of the same.
Yeah.
The defense arguably got worse.
The defense got worse.
Got worse.
You get Brian Burns. But
You get
lose-
Brian Burns. The defense arguably got worse. You blow them out 40-0 last year. They lose their best player. The defense gets a little bit worse, and you only win by 5 this year. That should tell you where you are as a Cowboys
Yeah.
fan right now. Your team is.
And I already know what Cowboys fans are going to say. Oh, we lost Micah. We lost DeMarcus Lawrence early in the game. Y'all weren't good early in the game. Y'all weren't good at all with them in.
It was a close game the whole time.
Andrew Thomas did not allow a single pressure to the most overrated defensive end in football, Micah Parsons.
Ooh.
I mean,
Overrated. he
let's
said.
just
The most
be,
overrated, I kind of agree with
let's
you.
just be honest.
I
What
kinda
has
agree with
Micah
you.
done this season?
Nothing.
He has looked like a average
He's looked-
defensive end all
I mean, he
season.
looked good against the Browns with 2 bad.
with 2
Bad
backups
tackles,
in.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
without that game, you look at Mike and you're like, wow, you're very underwhelming.
Yeah. I'm here for it, dude, especially with that matchup with the Texans coming up.
Yep.
I'm a fan of Micah Parsons. I think he's very talented. I think he's a freak too, if you will. But I don't think he is what they've glorified him to be, only because he's a Cowboys player.
Yeah, I mean, this Cowboys team is very disappointing, and I think this is the starting of the end for this organization as this strong organization they always have been. They're about to blow up this whole team, and it's going to be a rough couple of years for the Cowboys.
I like that.
All right, moving on. I want to y'all. So we heard the Devontae Adams news broke.
Yeah.
He is requesting a trade. Him and the head coach are going back and forth. I mean, the head coach liked an Instagram post saying Devontae Adams wants to be traded. He liked it. And then he comes out in an interview and says, who's out this week? Going over an injury report. He says all the guys' name, and he goes, yeah, and 17 won't be out there. Didn't even mention the man's name.
Did he go over the coach's head and ask for the trade? Do we know? Is that had been disclosed?
I don't think that he even
So-
requested the trade until this stuff came out.
So what I've heard is he's been very professional. We've never really heard, Devontae Adams isn't a professional guy. He
I mean,
usually
he'll
doesn't.
flare up on the field, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, he's not the drama queen you see with some of the
he's
guys won that
more
money.
so just a passion.
But he's been searching out for a contract since the offseason, which
Really?
we haven't heard anything about it because
No.
that's the time. I mean, he's a professional guy.
I mean,
he's not
he-
going to come
he
out and say
clocks
it.
in,
He
gets
wants
his work
that
done,
30. He
gets out.
wants what Brandon Ayuk got,
yeah.
and they didn't want to give it to him. And now you have Gardner Minshew out here throwing for 120 yards. Yeah, I don't blame him.
Wasting his last prime years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still in his prime.
Yeah,
He's got maybe
100%.
two.
He's
2
31.
years.
Yeah, he's still in his prime.
You
He-
cannot blame Devontae Adams for wanting to get out of there. So you're saying if he went over the coach's head, I think you've seen this coming. And if I think the coach, you're being a little bit petty. You mean you're not Bill Belichick. It's your first season as the head coach.
Yeah, you should want guys who want to be there. First
Exactly.
and foremost, if I'm him, I understand like the natural reaction to it, but and I also understand why. I mean, Devontae Adams has a couple good years, like really prime football years
Yeah.
left.
He's,
You want to go win. You want to go win games.
I mean, for a while we were saying, yeah, Devontae Adams is probably the best.
is he going to
receiver in
reunite
football.
with Aaron Rodgers in New York?
The team I want to go see get him is the Commanders.
The
I want to go
Commanders?
see you get another weapon beside Terry and give Daniels
I
another
don't, why would
weapon.
you this early? You don't want to put a star receiver on your unnaturally on your young rookie's plate. He just now started to feed this relationship with Terry, who is a number one receiver. Let's not act like he's not a true number one in this
Yeah.
league. 100% is. I don't think you do that. I think that can create too much demand for him. If it's working now, don't mess with it.
The
Don't
thing that-
overcomplicate the situation.
I don't think you look at this roster right now and say those guys are Super Bowl contenders.
I mean, I don't think
The-
they're
on the
ahead of
Raiders or
schedule.
on
The Commanders.
Commanders?
But you
They're ahead of
know,
schedule though.
with how they're playing. I mean, so were the Texans.
Okay, and if we would have went to the Super Bowl, that would have been amazing. But we're happy.
But
They're
what
ahead
Yeah,
of
but
schedule.
they didn't trade for Stephon Diggs in the middle of the season. They went and got him after the season after they.
Yes, but
realize
what are
what
the
I-
Texans' expectations as a Texans fan this year? What are you hoping for?
For a Super Bowl.
Why
Or
not
to
start
get to
it-
the Super Bowl?
Why not start it a year early for the
Because you're
Commanders
going to put too much on a rookie's plate.
I don't think you
100%.
put too much pressure.
I
on
think
him.
you do.
I think you get another guy to take even more pressure off of him.
Well,
'Cause-
we can't act like that line's good enough to him to develop to go through all those options. It's not. It's not the best line. It's not the best O line.
I'm just saying, you got who's that number 2 receiver over there that's so impressive?
They have to be heavy on Luke McCaffrey. They have to be. I mean, he's stepping up little by little. You don't let
He hasn't looked bad
Jahan
either.
Dotson
Yeah.
go. Possibly for the Ayuk emergence, but that didn't come to fruition. I wouldn't be surprised if they went and got him, but I don't think they're playing. They got a good cohesive unit. They went through an offseason with these guys. They've kind of built a thing there. I don't think you bring anything in right now when you're 3-1 and you expect it to be at the bottom of the division potentially.
If it's me, that's where I want to go see him go. I want to see Daniels get that other weapon and
Okay.
really see what that offense can go to at that next level.
I could see him going to the Rams. Honestly, we've seen the Rams do splashy
Wow.
moves
I
like
haven't even
that.
thought about
Didn't even
that.
think
Um,
about that.
That's good.
And their
Probably give
guys
up-
are down.
Yeah, their
Yep.
guys are down. They'll probably give up some draft picks like they always do. Honestly, my big surprise is why haven't the Raiders been looking to deal him?
Yeah.
Why are you
Why are you
having
sitting on that?
Why are you sitting on that? That's an aging asset that you can get profit for now.
Well, maybe it might look bad, but it could pay off a lot. I mean, you hold it to where you now see closer to the deadline where teams are shaping up for their
Mhm.
season goals, not their long term goals, their season goals, and they're maybe be willing to overpay for Devontae Adams.
I mean, maybe we could see the Rams give up one of their guys, maybe Cooper Kupp on that side. I don't think they'd give up. Oh, God bless Puka. Thank you.
No, they won't.
I don't see him giving up Puka,
I
but
don't
I
see
can
him
see
giving
him.
up Cup either.
I could see
to
him
be
giving up
honest.
Kupp, honestly. With the injury history on him, I could see Devontae going over there, go for broke type run.
If he goes for anywhere, I think he just goes for a pick. And if you're the Rams, your window is right now. You don't have you're not a team building for the future. You're
Not
building
at
for
all.
right now. So if they want a second round pick, cool. Throw in that second round pick.
I
If
mean,
that
they-
second round pick's not enough, why not just throw in a first and go get another ring?
They've had history of doing it too. I mean, they did
Exactly.
it with Matt Stafford. They did it with Jalen Ramsey. Like that rebuild that they had that was so fast of a turnaround
Yeah.
is because they just said, forget the picks.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs to go to Kansas City Chiefs. 100%. You got the type of culture there. You have the coach that can lead this guy. Devontae Adams isn't like we say. He's not a diva. He's never really created problems. He's just about his money.
Yep.
He's pretty professional. I think he falls right in line there. Or she's down for the season. Why would you not if you're the Chiefs? Go get this guy.
It's why would you trade him if you're the Raven or Raiders
'Cause you're
go
not
into
going-
a
division
divisional
rival.
rival just to see them win another Super Bowl?
I get that. But at the same time, if it's the best offer on the board and you're not playing for anything this
I
year,
don't see the Chiefs giving them
realistically.
the best offer either. I don't. They've historically not.
I
been the one to
understand
do
that,
that.
but we're talking about a three-peat.
If we're talking about places that I want him to see him go, yeah, I'd love to see him on the Chiefs. Realistically, though, I think Rams, Jets might do something dumb and
Everybody's
give up something.
Everybody's saying
big.
it's Cowboys,
Saints,
Cowboys and
Saints.
Jets. Is what we're hearing, right? Cowboys and Jets are
Yeah.
the two like.
But
Here's a
buzzing
sleeper
names.
team. We get Josh Allen, a number one guy who doesn't cause drama. What are we talking about if Devontae Adams goes to the Bills?
3-1. That could be a marriage made in heaven, or it could be a disaster. I mean, that's the risk you take. They're 3-1 right now. Maybe if it's closer to the trade deadline and I can see some more of how the direction the Bills are going, I'd be for it. Right now, I'm not really for it.
I don't see him going to Buffalo. I just don't see Buffalo. They've not historically done trades like that. And just going off of what we've seen these GMs do in the past and trying to go from there. I think your only three really are the Jets. Maybe the Saints will do something and pick them up, and the Rams.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to what you just said there. Those teams seem like good suitors. The Jets, there's probably gonna be a lot of buzz about the Jets getting the Aaron Rodgers thing, and that's a high likelihood.
And then Devontae Adams went to the Raiders just for Derek Carr.
Yeah, he could go back and play because he knows he can shine in that Jet system. It's Nathaniel
That
Hackett.
receiving core would be nasty.
It would.
It would be.
Adams, Olave.
Are we
Shaheed.
underwhelmed by the production of Wilson that there's talk something that he might have to go get Devontae
I don't even
Adams?
think it's just the production of Wilson. I think it's just you're adding another guy. I wouldn't.
I think it's another. You're just making Aaron Rodgers happy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really.
I don't think that's a recipe
And
for
both-
success.
Making Aaron Rodgers.
It hasn't been
comfortable.
proven a recipe
No.
for success at all. He won with Mike McCarthy when he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It wasn't A-Rod. After that, A-Rod took over and he's like, I say what goes, kind of.
Yeah.
I demand this. Since then, he's not been a
No.
Super Bowl quarterback.
All right, time to close us out. I want to see y'all's MVP ladder. So give me y'all's top 5 right now for MVP. What y'all got?
Okay, MVP number 1 right now, crazy as it is. I said he was going to do good this year. I just didn't see this. It was Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold. I mean, if we're talking about right now, this season, right now, Sam Darnold. Fishing football, he's had big yardage. He's had small yardage. He's dicing them up, being efficient. Sam Darnold's going to be my number
They're
1.
4-0.
They're 4-0.
My number 1 is a little different. Might catch people off guard, but Jaden Daniels is actually my number 1 for MVP.
Jaden Daniels?
84 completion percentage.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Over 200 rushing yards. You're 3-1,
Yeah.
and you're winning big games.
I mean, if he stays healthy, he's guaranteed Rookie of the Year.
Oh yeah,
If he plays
We
like that all year, he might be a
We
I mean,
heard
he's
it.
an
MVP.
MVP candidate with
yeah.
those stats.
Stroud finished in the top 3 last year.
Yeah, true.
Could we argue he has a better season than Stroud?
I think
It's
the
possible.
last rookie to win MVP was Jim Brown.
Well,
He might not be MVP just because the rookie thing's unheard of. But he's a candidate for sure.
Yeah,
he
he's gotta
could. If he continues to play like this, yes, we're gonna say he had a better season.
He's gotta
than
be in the
Stroud. As
top.
crazy as that is,
yeah.
that we would get back-to-back seasons like that from rookie quarterbacks. It might be the league now with the way the game is
So
transitioning
is
from
it better
college.
to have the number 2 pick?
It's looking like it. It's looking like it.
You'll never guess who I'm gonna pick.
Baker Mayfield.
No, what? How'd you know? No, but honestly though,
I don't hate that pick.
I mean, honestly, he's looking very consistent in that offense. He's not really making any mistakes. He's going out there getting 3 touchdowns a game. I
He's
mean, it's
Beefing with Brady in between.
beefing with Brady. He said, "This is my team now." Bro, talk about a crazy story though that Baker Mayfield and Tom Brady beat.
It's
Yeah.
cool. It's a little intricate in the season we get to have. I like it.
Baker's always got that chip on his shoulder. He's not
yeah,
gonna take
he's
that from
Oklahoma
him.
Baker again
mean-
now. I kind of like it.
You're Tom Brady, and he's the GOAT. I mean, you're gonna go clap back at the GOAT.
Yeah. Number 2, I'm gonna have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's my number 2.
I just
Wow.
wish it wasn't a quarterback award. That's all I'd have to
Yeah.
say about that.
Derrick Henry, I got at number 2 is my second of it. He's having a great season. I mean, he's on pace for one of the best seasons he's had in a long time. So I look forward to that.
My number 2, I'm not gonna explain it too much. You touched on it, Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I've got Sam Darnold sitting there at the 2. Him and Baker both having resurgence is great. Great stories. One of them's got to win comeback player of the year. Well, I mean, I guess not Baker, but Sam probably is a lock
Yes.
for comeback player of the year.
I think
now.
they not make it to where you had to be injured the year before or something
Yeah.
like that to come back. Yeah, so unfortunately.
You have to miss a certain amount of games. I think. is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
But he should still be. I mean,
should still
if he
be.
has a season like this, I mean, Jesus.
I mean,
His
Joe
career
Flacco-
was injured. Jesus.
Joe Flacco won it last year, and he wasn't injured.
Yeah, but after that, they were like, because he only played about
but
half
he
a
was
season.
he was going
Did
against
Flacco
DeMar
win it
Ham-
last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him and DeMar Hamlin, the dude who almost died,
Yeah.
and the dude who played for a dying franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But only played like half the season, so I was like, he really shouldn't have got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was
Even
the
though it
best
was
half
awesome,
a season I've ever
It
seen.
was like, it was amazing until y'all ran into a buzzsaw.
Number 3.
What buzz are you talking about?
I have Jared Goff at number 3. Jared Goff,
The
he looks
receiver?
good. Oh, yeah, the receiver. The receiver. I mean, you got a receiving touchdown in there now. I mean, it pleads its own case. Jared Goff has the Lions looking real good as we expected. He played his best game, arguably the best game ever by a quarterback.
That game was ridiculous.
And a big time game. Is this what to expect from Jared Goff now? I guess so. He's proved it over the last season and a half.
He's been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
My number 3, I went with Josh Allen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't
Forgot
know
about
how y'all
Josh
missed on
Allen.
that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and most people have him as the MVP right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's carrying the Bills, is what it really seems like.
It does seem like it. I think it's good team play too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to move mine. I'm gonna put
Golf 4.
Golf 4, Allen 3. Allen's balling out. Revenge season.
I think the Jared Goff pick was dead on. Jared Goff has looked amazing. He's not having to play outdoors, which I don't know if it's the wildest stat y'all have ever seen, but Jared Goff in the domes is the best quarterback to ever play football. Like, it's consistent. It's been throughout his whole career back in LA to now. But honestly though, he's looked great. That offense looks great behind him. If I could, I'd probably give it to that running back core in Detroit, but since it's a
Just give it to both of them.
yeah, honestly though, but since it's a quarterback award, Jared Goff.
Yeah, but fuck that.
My number,
As much as I would like to give. Oh, did you say a 4 already?
I haven't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's Jared Goff.
It's Jared Goff. Number 5, as much as I'd love to give Baker some homage. You know, I'm rooting for the guy a little bit now, but I mean, I'm still hesitant. I'm gonna go with Saquon.
Is he not even on your list?
No, I'm gonna go with
Bro,
Saquon.
fix that right
no,
now.
Saquon Barkley. He's
Best
he's keeping
quarterback
that
in the
team
league.
alive.
I'm
No.
telling you, 50 points every week.
No.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker's
Bank it.
Baker's my number 5. There was one player I wanted to throw in there, but it's just how heavy quarterback is. But if I was to have one guy that's not a quarterback in there, Nico Collins would probably
Nico,
be
shout
up
out
there.
Nico.
Nico
I
Collins.
mean, leading the receiving yards by over 100 yards.
103.
Who was Nico Collins?
Who the fuck is Nico Collins? The best receiver in the league. Yeah, he's big dogging out there. It's there's a big separation. You got some real dogs on that wide receiving core, and there's a separation on that field
Yeah.
between the talent levels at this point, at least in Stephon's career.
Who would have thought there were 2 receiving leaders would be Nico Collins and Malik Neighbors right
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess the Malik hype is real. I mean, God, he's good. Y'all hit goal with that one.
Yeah,
I
we
would say
did.
so.
now?
Great draft
LSU
pick.
receiver is like drafting a Kentucky guard in the NBA. It's just gonna work.
Oh, that's funny. All right, man. This has been the 5th installment of 4th and Football. It was great talking with you guys. I appreciate you guys for joining in. As always, I'm Jacob.
I'm Wyatt.
And I'm Ricky.
Catch you next time.